All right, let's dive right in. Have you ever wondered how to learn things faster? I mean, how to really make new information stick so it's there when you actually need it? Well, today we're going to get into the science of how your brain works so you can do just that.
I see this question all the time. This one's from a user on Reddit, and it just hits home, right? We've all been there. You spend hours, maybe even days, cramming for a test or learning a new skill, only to wake up the next morning and feel like it's all just gone. It's so frustrating. So what gives?
You know, the good news is the solution isn't just about more caffeine and more all-nighters. It's not about brute force. It's about working with your brain instead of against it. And the cool thing is, science actually gives us a roadmap for how to do it.
To get this, we first have to talk about the biggest challenge your brain faces when you're trying to learn something new. Think of it as a kind of bottleneck, the number one thing we need to figure out how to get around.
Okay, so this bottleneck has a name. It's called cognitive load theory. And the core idea is that our working memory, that's the part of your brain juggling whatever you're thinking about right now, is actually pretty tiny. It has a really limited capacity. If you try to shove too much in there at once, it just gets overloaded, and nothing makes it through to your long-term memory.
Here's a great way to picture it. Imagine your working memory is a narrow doorway. Now, if you try to push a giant overstuffed sofa through it, what happens? It gets stuck, right? That's your brain on information overload. It just creates this big cognitive traffic jam.
So, if the doorway is narrow, how do we get more through it? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. It turns out our brain has a super clever workaround. It's got not one but two channels for taking in information.
This is all explained by something called dual coding theory. And the big idea here is that we have a separate lane for things we hear or read, verbal stuff, and another lane for things we see, visual stuff. And when you use both of those channels at the same time, bam, you can basically double your learning bandwidth.
So let's break that down. On one side, you have what's called the phonological loop. That's just a fancy term for your inner voice, the part of your brain that processes words and sounds. And on the other side, you have the visuospatial sketchpad, which is your mind's eye. It deals with pictures, maps, and where things are in space. By using both, you're not jamming up one single channel.
And if you want to see a masterclass in dual coding, look no further than the method of loci, or the memory palace. People have been using this since ancient Greece. You take verbal information, like a shopping list or a speech, and you mentally place those items in a familiar visual space, like your house. It's the perfect combo of words and images, and it absolutely supercharges your memory.
Okay, so we've got the theory down. Now let's get practical. How do we use this stuff to get a really deep, unshakable understanding of a topic?
I absolutely love this quote. It gets to the heart of what real mastery is. It's not about using complicated words to sound smart. True understanding means you can break something down so simply that almost anyone can get it.
And that is the entire philosophy behind the Feynman technique. It's a brilliant four-step process. The key is step 2. Try to explain it to a child. This forces you to get rid of all the jargon and use simple analogies. And what it does, almost like magic, is it shines a huge spotlight on the parts you thought you knew but actually don't. It shows you exactly where the gaps are.
So, you've used a technique like Feynman's. You understand the material deeply. Now, how do you lock it in for the long term? How do you make sure you don't forget it a week from now? This brings us to our next powerhouse strategy.
It's called active recall. And it's the total opposite of what most of us do, which is passively rereading our notes or highlighting a book. Think of it like this. Passive review is like watching someone else work out. Active recall is you in the gym doing the heavy lifting. It's the act of pulling information out of your brain. And that effort is what tells your brain, hey, this is important. Save it.
A fantastic and, yeah, pretty intense way to practice active recall is the blurting method. You study, then you hide your notes, and you just blurt out everything you can remember onto a blank page. But the real magic is in step 3. You take out your original notes and a different colored pen, and you fill in everything you missed. What you're left with is a crystal clear visual map of your weak spots. It's an incredibly efficient way to study.
Okay, so you've encoded the information well, you've deepened your understanding, you've practiced retrieving it from memory, you think you're done, right? Well, there's one final step in this whole process, and honestly, it might be the most crucial one of all. It's basically your brain's big red save button.
And the wild part is, it's something you already do every single night. We're talking about sleep. While you're sleeping, your brain is anything but quiet. It's working hard, filing away the important stuff from the day and cementing those new memories.
And the data on this is just staggering. Check out this study. They had one group learn some information and then stay awake, and another group learn the same info and then get some sleep. The wake group, well, they forgot things. Their score went down. No big surprise. But look at the sleep group. Their memory actually improved. Their scores went up after sleeping.
Now let that sink in for a second. Sleep doesn't just put the brakes on forgetting. It's an active process. It goes in and reinforces those memory connections. Your brain is basically running a software update overnight, making your recall of what you learned even better than it was right after you studied it. It's incredible.
And the link here is just undeniable. The researchers found a nearly 75% positive correlation between memory improvement and the amount of time spent in organized, quality sleep cycles. That's not a coincidence. That's a direct, powerful connection.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that being a good learner isn't some magical gift you're either born with or you're not. It's a skill. It's a set of strategies, like using words and pictures, forcing yourself to simplify, actively recalling, and of course, sleeping, that anyone can use to get better.
So now you have the blueprint. You know the science behind how to learn faster and make it stick. My question for you is, what's the first change you're going to make? Which one of these techniques are you going to try first?